Hello again, YouTube. Truth Man here. The channel is the No Matrix, No Seminar Subject channel. So I want to talk about game on this one. I want to talk about game. And I got to talk about game because a lot of people are coming out saying that game don't work. It just worked different. It still work. And everybody, whether you're a guy that a passport brother, whether you're a guy that pay for it up front, whether you're a guy that a vetting guy, you gonna need some game. You gotta have some type of game. Even if it's weak, if it's strong, you gotta have some type of game. And that's what we're talking about. All the background noise. I'm on the freeway. That's what we're talking about, y'all. We're talking about game. And the three key elements to it. So I want to focus on the three key elements. See, I told y'all about Fresh and Fit, man. He talked all this stuff about not getting the marriage license, not paying alimony, all this other stuff. They talk all about that, and then he gonna go raw dog a chick and then bust in her. I mean, I told y'all, them dudes ain't red pill, man. They just riding the wave. They Matrix. They trapped in the Matrix. Everything about them trapped in the Matrix. And they might be agents too. So if you think you're gonna get some game from Fresh and Fit, it ain't happening. Game don't have a face and game don't have a network. It's dudes that don't even got a job that got game. I'm telling you. It's dudes that got the CEOs of companies that don't. That's just the way it works, man. It's one of them things that you have to, people try to say it come natural. It come with practice, man. I'm gonna tell you like that. See, when I became what I became back in the day, that just developed. Like I was thinking, you gotta meditate, you gotta have a strategy. Like I was thinking, like I gotta be more smooth. I gotta have good reactions to the things they say and they body language. So I'm saying this stuff to myself, right? 17 years old. Saying this stuff to myself. So I started trying stuff. And I saw what worked and what didn't. But what I also noticed is all of them women was different. One woman to call you ugly, the next woman to call you fine. One woman to say you look horrible, the next woman to say you easy on the eye. That's why you don't pay attention to neither. You don't let the ones that like you go to your head, and you don't let the ones that don't like you go to your head. That's part of the game. But what I want to get into mainly is the top three elements of game. I'll start off by telling you, if I had a fourth, what would the fourth be? What would the fourth be? If I had a fourth, well, let's go over the first three. The first most important element of game is you gotta be able to handle rejection. How you handle rejection is gonna determine the level of your success with women in general. You can't handle rejection, it's gonna have a negative effect on your confidence. When you can't handle rejection, you just look at it like, oh well, didn't get her, but I'm gonna keep trying. That's why I call it game, because it's something that needs to be played. And for you to play, you gotta be a player. You can't play the game if you're not a player of that game. You can't play a sport if you don't know how to play that sport in an organized fashion. See, like, you can't play for a real basketball team if you don't know how to pick and roll and how to cut to the basket and all that stuff, right? Well, everything works this way, man, including dealing with these women. You got to know how to play it. Like, you got to know, okay, like, think about it. Like, Giannis, before the game, I bet Giannis sits around and think, okay, I'm going to try this in the game. So he get in the game and he start doing the moves that he thought about before the game started. That's how I was with football. Like, when I used to play cornerback, I'd be like, okay, this one, I'm finna do this. I'm finna jam them up. And I'm really gonna be punching them, but I'm gonna make it look like I'm playing bump and run. I'd be like, I'm gonna wear these receivers down. I had a strategy. When the game started, I implemented that strategy. And if the strategy fails, you do what? You try it again. If it fell again, you do what? You try something else. That's how it works when you're dealing with these women. Teeth don't matter, money don't matter, height don't matter. Because guess what? For every 5 women that don't like a short guy, is 1 or 2 that don't care or that do. For every 5 women that don't like a tall guy, is 1 or 2 that care or do. They care about his height, that his height matters. So when you dealing with them, you gotta deal with them from a standpoint that they all different. Because some of them will pick up on that if you try to treat them all the same. If you think, because 5 women told you you was hot or you was cute or this, you think they all think that. So you're gonna come off as a narcissist, and you're gonna get rejected by some of them for that reason alone. Whereas if you treat each one differently and you vet each one differently, like, yeah, you can ask the same questions, but you're gonna have to have different responses for the different responses that you gonna get. You see? So, okay, hold on. Man, I'm losing time. So, number 1 is you got to be able to handle rejection, man. They might laugh at you. They might roast you. They might ignore you. They might act like they can't hear you. Huh? What? You got to speak up. You don't know what they're going to do, but you got to be able to handle it to develop your game. You got to know that you ain't getting all of them. So you got to be able to handle rejection. Number 2 is you got to be patient. You got to be patient. If you're too thirsty, you ain't going to be able to handle rejection. That's why these dudes be doing some of the craziest things to women. Because they can't handle rejection. They rely on this chick and she tell them they got to move. And now he like, if I can't have you, nobody can. That's an attitude of a dude that don't have no game. If I can't have you, nobody can. Man, who cares? If she wasn't for you, you shouldn't care. To see what be making some dudes mad though, is these women be trying to take your money with her over there to Pookie. They won't just leave clean. They want to break you before they leave. For child support, for alimony. You know? So you gotta have patience, man. You can't be thirsty. You gotta get to know these chicks. You gotta get to know if they clean or not. You gotta get to figure out who they dealing with. Because ain't no way you should be willing to fight over any of these women. If they got somebody, you gotta have. That's rejection. Them having somebody else, them having somebody on the side, that's also rejection. So you gotta be able to handle rejection. And the second thing is you gotta have patience. You might been struck out with like 7 women. That's why you don't pay for everything too. You don't break yourself, man. If she moving slow, you move slow with them dollars. You start telling her, well, this time I'm gonna pay for myself and you gonna pay for yourself. And then another time you say, well, I treated the first 2 times. Maybe you could treat this time. So patience is number 2. Patience, man. If you just want to smash and you super thirsty, man, that's gonna make you act simpy. The third thing is self-control, man. That goes along with the patience, man. You can't, dude, it's not even smart for you to try to have sex with all of these women. You don't know who they dealing with. You don't know what they got. They could have HIV. They could have HPV. It's not smart for you to try to deal with all of them. You know what I mean? You got to take your time and figure out, okay, she seemed like somebody that I'm going to deal with. So you keep her. Keep her number on the dial. Keep dealing with her. Then you meet another one. Okay, she seemed like somebody I'm going to deal with. So now your roster is up to 2. You deal with those 2. You dictate to them. You tell them, hey, I just want you to see how clean I am. You know, I'll pay for the test, man. Let's just take the test. And then we just deal with each other, you know. And if I deal with somebody else, like you practice polygyny, show her your other concubine test. Or she clean too. You know? Trust me, man, it's more women that deal with you having a harem than you think. Go ahead. Though you probably ain't going nowhere. Go ahead. So, you gotta have self-control. Those are the top 3, man. Be able to handle rejection. Have patience. Have self-control. Self-control gonna keep you from stuttering. Self-control gonna keep you from trying to mess with everybody. Along with that patience, those go hand in hand, man. I'm telling you, they both gonna be reliable sources for you. Patience, self-control, being able to handle rejection. You try to talk to somebody, they just keep walking. You either get the last word or you keep going. Be like, oh, okay. You have a nice day then. Or you just take it on the chin. And don't be one of those older guys that think that none of these younger women in their 20s, 30s, or even their 40s, if you in your 50s, you can't get none of them. That's a lie. That's what the hateful, resentful, bitter women want you to think. But once you start talking, once you start developing your game, you gonna see that a lot of these women like older guys. They do. And I'm gonna tell you this, some of them talk that money stuff just so people accept it. And deep down inside, some of them, they doing it because they like older guys. And they'll tell their friends who've been brainwashed, oh, yeah, he just an old creep. They'll be like, well, you know, I'm just dealing with him for money. And some of them will be lying. They just trying to get the people they deal with to accept it. That's what that is. Man, if you really got game, you can look in women's eyes sometimes and know whether or not they like you or whether or not you got a shot. And you look at some of these younger women sometimes, you see nothing but curiosity in their eyes. Like they mind is saying, I'm tired of these dudes my age. They too childish. You can see it all in their eyes. Just like the interracial thing. Like if you're from Wisconsin, you gonna think that most of these white girls do not like black dudes. And likewise. But if you got game and you can read body language and you people and stuff, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, she do. But one of the problems here is a lot of time they wait till they done got old. They done got old. Now they showing that curiosity. Now they getting that desire for that. When they was young, they was trying not to even go there. There's a lot of that though too. So the fourth thing, if I had a fourth thing, I would say you gotta develop the ability to read people and to read vibes. So that's a valuable source when you're talking to women. Just like it'll show you, man, I ain't getting nowhere. Or it'll show you, I think I can get somewhere. You know? Like the dude was trying to roast me. He said, man, Jerry curl's out of style. First of all, it's not a Jerry curl. A wave nouveau and a Jerry curl is one chemical away from being the same thing. So I told him, braids go back to the biblical days. You know, Samson had braids. While you talking about what's out of style, your style go back to biblical days. So other things that I would have added is you got to know how to react to dirty macking. A lot of these young dudes, jailbird pookies, are dirty Macs. They try to laugh and giggle and try to steer people away from getting with you. That's what they do. But you gotta know, man, he ain't nobody. Nobody. Criminal record is important, man. And if you not changing your ways after you get a criminal record, you still trying to be that way, the nerve of you to try to act like you better than anybody. I could see a dude who made some mistakes and he bouncing back and he changing his life. But them ones who just still trying to be in that element and that mindset, try to act like they better than somebody, man, please. You can't even make $1 without some type of crime or theft or scam or scheme or relying on somebody's weaknesses and vices. The nerve of some of these dudes. And they'll be dirty macking. Like I'm telling you, if you deal with these guys on a regular, like you live in the hood or you work in the jail, you're a police officer, you gotta be careful not to even pay too much attention to the things they say, because they're gonna try to get under your skin like a woman. A lot of their ways are gonna be very feminine. Like you see what Judge Joe Brown just came out and said. He believes that any dude that's been in jail for more than a year is probably gay. I don't know, man, 'cause they, you know, the toilet's wide open, the shower wide open, they seeing men all day. Seeing them all day. I don't know, it might be true in a lot of cases. You might be right. Deals be going both ways. So that's the fourth thing. You gotta be able to handle dirty macking if it was the fourth thing. The fifth thing is you gotta keep the leverage and the control. And you should be able to leverage more than just money. You should have leverage like mentality. You have leverage over her mentality, over her. You should be more strong-minded than her. Like me, I could tell a weak-minded chick. A lot of time, weak-minded chicks just talk too much. They talk all the time. And they'll be trying to act like they strong-minded. But the question is, have they been tested? You know? The ones that talk too much, the ones that are too comfortable around guys, if you got game, you getting in their drawers. I'm telling you. And I ain't trying to hear that. They didn't mean to do it. Yeah, they did. They wanted to do it. The church ones try to repent afterwards. I repent. Forgive me, I got weak. You already was weak. Ain't no God. But anyway, I'm gonna upload this. This is important, y'all. This is important. I might make a video on the way back. Stay tuned. Once I get off, it's gonna be in the dark. No Matrix in the dark. No Matrix after dark. Whatever you want to call it. But stay tuned.